Chosen one. Stop what you are doing and open your spirit. For heaven has paused everything to deliver this word directly into your life. This moment is not by coincidence. You are not scrolling here by accident. Something greater than algorithms, beyond human orchestration, has aligned this exact instant because God wants your full attention. You are not like the rest. You were never meant to blend in. You are marked. You are sealed. You are chosen. Listen carefully. Your journey, your pain, your battles, they have not gone unseen. Every time you wondered why life seemed heavier for you than for others, it was because you were carrying a calling that demanded more preparation. You were not created to live an average life, to be overlooked, or to settle in silence. Heaven has spoken your name. You are the reason this message is alive right now. Do not underestimate the weight of this interruption. When heaven pauses, destinies shift. You may not realize it yet, but you have been preserved through storms that could have destroyed you, held together by a hand you could not see. And now, that same hand is pulling you closer, reminding you that the time for hiding is over. The time for silence is done. The mantle you carry is ready to be unveiled. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 16, "You did not choose me. I chose you, appointed you to go, bear fruit, fruit that will last." Let those words sink deep into your bones. This is not man's selection, not society's approval, not family's affirmation. This is divine election. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, you were appointed. Before you spoke your first word, a word was spoken over you. And now, heaven calls you back to remembrance. Chosen one. You have felt the sting of rejection. People turned their backs. Opportunities slipped away. Doors slammed shut in your face. But what if I told you those rejections were divine protections? What if every no was heaven's way of saying, "Not here, not yet, because I have something greater"? You are not being punished, you are being positioned. Pay attention. Your uniqueness has always unsettled others. You've been misunderstood, underestimated, even mocked. But that was never a sign of weakness. It was proof that your presence carries something different. You disrupt the atmosphere. Darkness trembles at your name because you bear a light it cannot extinguish. Every spiritual force that tried to stop you could not succeed, because the oil on your life cannot be stolen. Hear this with urgency. Do not procrastinate. Do not dismiss this as another word among many. This is heaven sounding an alarm in your spirit. If you ignore it, you risk dulling your sensitivity to the very voice that has preserved you all along. This is not about religion, routine, or ritual. This is about destiny colliding with divine timing. I must tell you plainly, your life is bigger than you imagined. You are being called to stand, to rise, to step boldly into the purpose that terrifies hell itself. There is no more room for half measures, no more excuses, no more delay. Chosen one. Let your heart respond. Say yes to the call. Heaven is watching. Angels are leaning in. Your agreement is the key that unlocks the next chapter. Don't shrink back. Don't play small. You were never created to be ordinary. You are extraordinary. Right now, I ask you to take action. Subscribe if you have not already. Because this is only the beginning of the journey. Heaven has aligned for you here. Share this word so others who are chosen may find it in their appointed moment. And beloved, comment below the prophetic number 777 as a declaration that you recognize this is your time, your season, your divine interruption. Chosen one. Your life bears marks that few can truly understand. The fire you have walked through has left scars upon your soul. But those scars are not evidence of defeat. They are the seal of one who has been tested and proven. You have not been crushed by what was meant to destroy you. Instead, you have been forged, refined, and prepared for something that demands the strength of someone who has walked through fire and survived. The truth is, many people around you do not see the weight of what you carry. They notice your smile, but they cannot see the nights when tears burned like rivers. They watch your resilience, but they cannot imagine the battles you fought in silence, the storms that howled against your spirit. Yet every flame that tried to consume you has only revealed the strength hidden inside you. Like gold in the furnace, you are being purified, shaped for glory. There are moments you may have asked, why me? Why do I face so much more resistance than others? Hear this clearly. The fire was never meant to destroy you. It was designed to distinguish you. Only those who are chosen for higher purposes are placed in furnaces hot enough to reveal the purity of what lies within. You were never common. Your life was never meant to be lived on a small scale. The very heat you felt pressing against your spirit was heaven's method of removing what could not remain in your next season. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. God gave not fear, but power, and love, and sound mind. This promise is your anchor. The fire may have surrounded you, but it did not consume you. The evidence of your survival is proof that you are chosen, marked, and preserved for a destiny that could not be stopped. Understand this. What you endured has made you a weapon in the hand of God. The scars on your heart are not signs of weakness. They are reminders of battles already won. You are stronger now, more resilient, more aware. Every lesson carved into you by hardship has equipped you with wisdom others cannot comprehend. That wisdom will be the key that unlocks doors for you and for others who are still lost in their fire. Do not despise your scars. Chosen one. They tell a story. They declare to the world that you have stood in the midst of trial and remained unbroken. They speak to unseen realms, testifying that you are untouchable because heaven has preserved you. What the enemy thought would silence you has only amplified the voice of your destiny. And now, standing here with the marks of fire upon you, know this truth. You are unstoppable. The flames could not claim you. The storms could not drown you. The weight of sorrow could not bury you. Every scar is evidence of victory. Every wound has become a window for God's glory to shine through you. You were not meant to escape without scars. You were meant to emerge with proof. Proof that you are marked by fire. Proof that you are chosen for greater works. Proof that you cannot be broken. The furnace did not finish you. It forged you into a vessel that will carry power, light, and unshakable faith into this world. Chosen one. Let me speak into the silence you once believed went unnoticed. Those nights when you lay awake, eyes heavy with tears, whispering prayers. You weren't sure anyone heard heaven was listening. Not one sigh escaped the ear of God. Not one tear fell to the ground without being gathered. Your pain was never wasted. and your silence was never ignored. You see, in those hidden hours when nobody else was watching, your spirit was being shaped. While others slept in comfort, you wrestled in secret. That wrestling was not punishment. It was preparation. You were being trained to stand in a strength not of this world. What others mistake as weakness, your quietness, your tears, your solitude was actually the sacred place where your destiny was being refined. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 56, verse 8, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." What does this mean for you? It means that not a single moment of your anguish has been overlooked. Every private battle is recorded in heaven as evidence of your faithfulness. Every drop of pain is counted as seed, and seed always produces a harvest. Chosen one, hear this clearly. Your hidden nights are about to meet their morning. You will see why you were preserved through such darkness. The silence you endured has created a sound that will echo far louder than any pain you felt. That echo is your testimony, and it will bring freedom to others who are still walking through shadows. This is why you could not give up, even when everything inside you wanted to. The reason you're still here, breathing, listening, is because heaven refused to let your story end in sorrow. The author of your life has written more pages than you have read, and those pages are filled with light, restoration, and glory. But there is something you must do now. You cannot keep carrying the weight of silence as if it defines you. Your tears were never your ending. They were the ink of your beginning. And today, you must declare out loud what heaven already knows that you hear, that you believe, that you are ready to rise from silence into sound. Type this in the comments right now. I hear you, Lord. Why? Because your written declaration breaks the agreement with silence. When you declare it openly, you step into alignment with the word being spoken over you. By commenting these words, you are telling heaven and reminding your own spirit that you no longer dwell in the shadows of unanswered cries. You are acknowledging that God has heard you and that you now hear Him. Do not underestimate the power of such a small act. It is not about typing letters, it is about agreement. Agreement with heaven shifts atmosphere. Agreement with heaven unlocks doors. Agreement with heaven sets captives free. When you write these words, you mark this moment as the day your silence was broken, your sorrow was answered, and your destiny began to sing again. Chosen one, your tears have spoken long enough. Now, let your voice respond. Type it, believe it, and step forward into the light that has been waiting for you. Chosen one, do you realize the weight of the light you carry? It is not a common light, not a dim flicker, not a fragile flame. It is the light of heaven itself, placed within you from the beginning. This light is not something you earned or manufactured. It is not borrowed from others. It was breathed into you the moment you were chosen. And because of this, every room you enter shifts. Darkness feels the tremor of your presence. Evil retreats at the sound of your footsteps. Your life carries an atmosphere that cannot be explained with logic. People may not always understand why they feel stirred, convicted, or even unsettled when you walk in. But the truth is simple. Darkness cannot remain comfortable when light arrives. And you are not just carrying a candle, you are carrying a consuming fire. Think about the moments when opposition seemed to rise without reason. People who hardly knew you felt compelled to resist you. Environments seemed to push against you, even when you did nothing wrong. That was not coincidence. That was not simply human conflict. It was spiritual resistance to the divine authority within you. The enemy recognized the light you carried before you did. And every attempt to silence you was an attempt to extinguish what could not be put out. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 7. The Lord will cause your enemies who rise against you to be defeated before you. They shall come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. This is the assurance over your life. Every force that has tried to stand against you is destined to scatter, not because of your own strength, but because of the heavenly light you carry. Chosen one. Never confuse opposition with failure. The reason you face greater battles is because you carry greater authority. If your presence did not disturb the darkness, you would not be attacked so fiercely. The resistance you face is proof of the light within you. Every dart thrown your way is confirmation that you have something worth fearing. And here is the mystery. The enemy fears you more than you realize. You often see yourself as fragile, broken, unsure, but in the unseen realm, you are recognized as a force of disruption, a vessel of light that cannot be silenced. When you rise in confidence, you step into your true nature, one that was designed to shake atmospheres, to bring clarity where there is confusion, and to carry freedom into the lives of others. This light does more than defend you. It transforms. It illuminates hidden lies. It heals wounds you didn't even know others carried. Your very presence becomes a reminder to those around you that heaven is near. Sometimes, without even speaking, you bring conviction, comfort, or courage. That is the power of being chosen. Do not hide this light. Do not shrink back for the sake of making others comfortable. You were not designed to blend in. You were sent to disrupt, and disruption is never gentle to darkness. Chosen one. Your light terrifies what is unholy, not because of who you are in the natural, but because of who you are in the spirit. So walk boldly. Walk knowing that the light in you will outshine every shadow. Walk understanding that opposition is only proof of your calling. And above all, walk without fear, because no darkness can withstand the brilliance of a chosen one carrying heaven's fire. Chosen one. Let us talk about rejection, the heavy weight that has followed you like a shadow. You know what it feels like to be overlooked, dismissed, or abandoned, to give your heart fully, only to have it broken, to pour yourself into places and people who did not see your worth. Rejection leaves marks, invisible but deep, and sometimes it whispers lies. You are not enough. You are unwanted. You are forgotten. Not, but heaven speaks a different word over you. The rejection you faced was never the final verdict. What man cast aside, God has lifted up. What others could not recognize, heaven crowned with honor. You were not meant to fit everywhere. Chosen one. You were set apart. And sometimes that separation comes through the sting of rejection. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 118, verse 22. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. This scripture does not just speak of Christ, it speaks prophetically into the lives of all who follow in his footsteps. You, too, have been rejected, yet chosen. Cast aside, yet essential. The very things that made others dismiss you are the very things that make you irreplaceable in God's design. Think of this: if everyone had accepted you, you might have settled in places too small for your calling. If every door had opened, you may have missed the one door that truly mattered. Rejection was not meant to break you. It was meant to redirect you. Heaven closed certain paths to preserve you for the path that leads to purpose. You have to understand, chosen one, that your worth is not defined by who walked away. It is not diminished by who failed to see you. Your worth has always been sealed by the one who called you chosen from the very beginning. The crown placed upon your life does not depend on human approval. It rests on divine decree. And yet, I know how heavy the sting of rejection can feel. Sometimes it pushes you into loneliness. Sometimes it makes you doubt your voice, your gifts, your very existence. But rejection is not the end of your story. It is the proof that you do not belong in ordinary spaces. You carry a light that demands higher places. You carry an anointing that cannot be confined. Chosen one. Take courage in this, what others turned away from. Heaven has embraced. Where you were excluded, God has included you in His plan. Every closed door is being replaced by a divine opening. Every painful no is making way for a greater yes. Answer. Now, let me pause and speak to your heart sincerely. If this word is stirring something within you, if it feels like the missing piece you've been needing, don't keep it to yourself. Someone else, somewhere, is carrying the same wounds of rejection and desperately needs this reminder. Share this message. Not for me, but because you never know whose healing is on the other side of your obedience. And if you haven't yet, take a moment to subscribe. Why? Because heaven is not finished speaking into your life. And I don't want you to miss the next word prepared for you. This is not just about following, it's about staying aligned with what heaven is pouring out in this season. Chosen one. Your rejection was not your downfall, it was your coronation. Wear it as proof that you were never meant to blend in. You are chosen. And nothing, no wound, no betrayal, no abandonment can remove the crown God Himself has placed upon you. Chosen one. You are standing closer to destiny than you realize. This moment is not random. It is the edge of something that has been prepared for you since the beginning. Every trial, every delay, every closed door has led you here. You may feel as though you have been circling the same mountains for too long, waiting for breakthrough, waiting for clarity, waiting for something to finally shift. But hear this now, you are one step away. That step may not look dramatic. It may not come with loud fanfare or sudden applause. Often, destiny reveals itself in what looks ordinary but carries eternal weight. The danger, however, is this. You may be tempted to turn back just before the breakthrough arrives. You may grow weary, thinking the wait is endless. Yet heaven is whispering, hold steady, take one more step. Do not give up now. And according to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. This is the anchor for you right now. You cannot rely on logic to make sense of your journey. You cannot depend on your feelings to tell you when the time is right. You must trust the one who has already written your story. Think back to the moments you almost surrendered to despair. The nights you said, "This is too much. I cannot continue." But somehow, strength rose from within you. Somehow, you kept moving. That was not your own willpower. It was heaven carrying you, because your destiny could not be cut short. If you had stopped, then you would not be here now. And if you stop now, you will never see what is waiting just beyond this season. Chosen one. Breakthrough is always preceded by the temptation to quit. The moment you feel most pressed, most tired, most ready to walk away, that is the sign that you are near the turning point. The enemy knows what lies ahead for you, and his last weapon is discouragement. If he cannot destroy you, he will try to convince you to destroy yourself by giving up too soon. But today, let this word be your shield. You are not stepping into failure, you are stepping into fulfillment. You are not wandering aimlessly, you are walking toward a promise. Heaven has preserved you for such a time as this, and the only requirement is that you do not turn back. There is a prophetic act I ask of you now. Write this number boldly in the comments, 888. Why this number? Because it is a sign of new beginnings and divine alignment. By writing it, you declare that you are stepping into the new, that you will not retreat into old cycles. You are saying, I trust the author of my story more than I trust my fears. This is not superstition, it is agreement. Agreement has power. And when you agree with heaven, doors open that no man can shut. Do not underestimate the significance of this moment. You are one step away, one decision, one act of faith. One yes to the divine call can change everything. Chosen one. The road behind you was preparation, but the road before you is fulfillment. Hold fast. Take the step. Destiny is calling your name. Chosen one. I know you have wrestled with disappointment. You prayed. You waited. You knocked. And still the doors seemed locked tight. At times you felt forgotten, as if heaven had gone silent. Those delays weighed heavy, testing your faith, stretching your patience. Yet, hear me clearly, delay was not denial. Every pause, every unanswered prayer, every season of waiting was a divine orchestration, preparing you for something greater than you imagined. The human heart grows restless in waiting. You wanted answers quickly, breakthroughs suddenly, clarity without confusion. But God, in His wisdom, slowed your steps. Why? Because He knows what you can carry, and when you are ready to carry it, to rush would have crushed you. To grant prematurely would have ruined the very blessing you asked for. Delay was the shield that preserved you from stepping into something before its appointed time. Think back to the doors that never opened. Some you desperately wanted. Some you cried over when they slammed shut. And yet, looking back now, you can see glimpses of why they had to remain closed. What you thought was loss was in fact protection. What you mourned as failure was a redirection. If you had walked through those doors, you would have settled for less than what was written for you. The prophet Elijah once stood on the mountain, waiting for God to reveal Himself. The wind came, the earthquake came, the fire came, but God was in none of those. Then came a gentle whisper, and in that whisper was the presence of God. Chosen one. You wanted earthquakes and fire, sudden, dramatic answers. But heaven has been shaping you in the whisper, teaching you to recognize His voice in the stillness. It is written in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay. This word is the foundation under your feet. Though the promise seems slow, it is certain. What God has spoken over you cannot fail. Chosen one. Delay has taught you patience. Delay has taught you to trust beyond what you see. Delay has stretched your faith so it would be strong enough to hold the blessing when it arrives. Without the waiting, your roots would be shallow. With the waiting, you are unshakable. The time you thought was wasted has actually been invested. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of silence was building a foundation. Now, feel this truth deeply. You are closer than you think. The waiting is not forever. What is appointed for you cannot be stolen. Destiny does not run late. It arrives precisely when it should. And when it does, you will look back at the delay with gratitude. You will see that every moment of waiting was necessary. Every step of silence was sacred. So, do not despise the seasons that felt empty. Do not curse the days that felt wasted. Nothing was wasted. Heaven does not waste pain, nor does it waste time. You are stepping into the hour where what was hidden will be revealed, where what was delayed will be delivered, where the whisper you learned to follow will lead you into the fulfillment of everything spoken over your life. Chosen one. Delay was never denial. It was always divine design. Chosen one. There is a holy weight in what I must say to you now. For too long, many have treated mercy as if it were endless, as if heaven's patience would never run out. But you must understand, mercy is a gift, and gifts cannot be abused without consequence. Mercy is extended to draw you back, not to give you permission to wander further. And though the love of God is wide, there comes a moment when repeated rebellion leads to blindness. This is why you are hearing this word today. Heaven is warning you, not to frighten you into despair, but to awaken you to the urgency of your moment. You cannot keep living as though you have endless chances. You cannot postpone obedience, telling yourself you will surrender someday. Someday is not promised. Every breath you take is mercy. Every heartbeat is a reminder that heaven has not yet withdrawn its hand. We find in the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 26, if we deliberately keep on sinning after we have received the knowledge of the truth, no sacrifice for sins is left. These are heavy words, yet they are truth. They cut through excuses, through delay, through half-hearted devotion. They remind us that mercy is not a license, it is a lifeline. Chosen one. Perhaps you have felt the tension in your spirit, a voice inside that says, "Stop, turn back. Do not continue down this path." That is mercy speaking. Perhaps you have felt uncomfortable in situations where you once felt free to indulge. That, too, is mercy. The tightening in your heart, the unease in your soul, the restlessness you cannot shake, those are not coincidences. Those are heaven's alarms, warning that the line is closer than you realize. Do not ignore these signals. Mercy will not always plead. There comes a time when the door closes, when the heart grows numb, when the light fades because it was resisted too long. That is why this word is being spoken into your life now. In this exact moment, heaven does not want you to harden your heart. Heaven is stretching out one more call, saying, "Come back. Listen. Obey while you still can." Think of the countless times you should have been destroyed. yet you were spared. The accident you avoided, the sickness you recovered from, the depression that did not take your life, mercy preserved you. Others lost their way, but mercy held you. Others were swallowed by darkness, but mercy kept a light burning for you. Does this not prove how deeply you are loved? And yet, do not mistake love for leniency. Love calls you higher. Love demande transformation. Chosen one. The truth is simple. You are one rebellion away from blindness. If you persist in resisting, the danger is not that God stops loving you, but that you stop hearing Him. The danger is not that His mercy runs out, but that your heart becomes too hard to receive it. That is the cliff you stand on, and heaven is shouting, do not take another step. End 1. But here is the hope. The very fact that you are hearing this word proves mercy is still active. The door is not yet closed. The fire of conviction burning inside you is proof that heaven still pursues you. Conviction is a gift. It means your heart is not hardened. It means your ears are still open. It means it is not too late. So, let this warning settle deep into your spirit. This is not condemnation, it is invitation. An invitation to turn, to surrender, to step fully into the grace that still waits for you. Chosen one. Do not gamble with mercy. Respond while the voice still calls. Step back from the edge while the light still shines. Heaven is calling you now. Chosen one. There comes a moment when identity must be embraced, not questioned. You have heard the words before you are chosen. You are marked. You are set apart. But hearing is not the same as declaring. Destiny demands your agreement. Heaven waits for your response. Today is not about theory, it is about declaration. You have walked long enough with doubt on your shoulders. You have questioned your worth, your calling, your strength. But the very fact that you are still here is evidence that heaven has preserved you for something greater. You are not just surviving, you are being positioned. And the time has come to speak what heaven has already written. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 9, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind conceived what God prepared for those who love. Do you hear this? Chosen one, there are things reserved for you that no one else can even imagine. But those things are unlocked, not by silence, but by declaration. Your crown is not given in secret. Your inheritance is not handed quietly. Both are revealed when you open your mouth and declare alignment with heaven's word. That is why the enemy has worked so hard to silence you. If he could keep you doubting, keep you hidden, keep you quiet, he could keep you from stepping fully into your inheritance. But silence is broken today. This is not about hype or empty ritual. It is about the power of agreement. When your spirit says yes and your mouth declares it, the unseen realm shifts. Angels respond to your declaration. Darkness recoils at your agreement. What you write, what you say, becomes a spiritual contract that hell cannot contest. Chosen one, I ask you now to make a prophetic declaration in faith. Type these words in the comments. I choose my crown. Why this phrase? Because it is more than words. It is a decision. It is you saying, I will no longer shrink back. I will no longer question who I am. I accept the identity placed upon me by heaven. When you declare it, you are not just typing into a screen. You are inscribing your obedience in the spiritual realm. And understand this, When you choose your crown, you also choose the responsibility it carries. A crown is not only honor, it is weight. It is calling. It is destiny. To wear it is to embrace both glory and sacrifice. But fear not, for you are not called to carry it in your own strength. Heaven strengthens those it crowns. Grace empowers those it chooses. Every crown comes with a battle. You will still face resistance, still walk through fire, still endure storms. But the crown is proof that none of these will destroy you. They will shape you, refine you, and prove that you are who heaven says you are. Rejection cannot strip it. Darkness cannot steal it. Even your own doubts cannot erase it once you declare it. Chosen one. Hear this with clarity. Destiny requires your voice. Agreement is not passive, it is active. Your crown is waiting, but it will not rest upon silent heads. It rests upon those who say yes loudly, boldly, unapologetically. So rise today in faith. Speak it. Declare it. Claim the crown heaven has preserved for you. Type it. Believe it. Live it. I choose my crown. Chosen one. Your voice is not ordinary. It is not empty sound or meaningless words. The breath that leaves your lips carries weight in the unseen realm. When you speak in alignment with heaven, atmospheres shift, chains break, hearts awaken, darkness trembles. You may not realize it yet, but your voice has been marked with authority. That is why the battles around your speech have been so intense. The enemy has tried to silence you with shame, with fear, with rejection, because he knows that when you speak, you release heaven into the earth. Think of the times you felt unworthy to speak, as if your prayers were too small, as if your words held no power. Those were lies whispered into your spirit to keep you silent, but silence was never your portion. You were born to declare. You were designed to release. When you open your mouth in obedience, you do not speak alone. Heaven echoes through your voice. It is written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 21. Death and life are in the tongue. Those who love it will eat its fruits. This truth should not be taken lightly. What you declare shapes reality. When you bless, blessing multiplies. When you speak faith, faith grows. When you pray with authority, heaven responds. Chosen one. Your words are not background noise. They are spiritual weapons. Every time you declare, I am chosen, I will not be shaken. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. You are not merely encouraging yourself, you are enforcing heaven's decree. Angels respond to those declarations. Darkness flees when you raise your voice in truth. And let me tell you something profound. The enemy is terrified of your agreement with heaven. That is why discouragement tries to sit heavy on your tongue. That is why fear tries to silence your prayers. But every time you resist and speak anyway, you win a victory in realms you cannot see. Chosen one. It is time to reclaim your voice. Speak over your life. Speak over your family. Speak over your future. Speak over the chains that tried to bind you. Declare the promises of God with boldness, because when you do, you are not just releasing words, you are releasing power. And here is where I must pause with you sincerely. If this word is stirring something deep in you, if you feel that fire rising in your chest, do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your circle needs to be reminded of the power of their own voice. By sharing this word, you become a messenger of hope to someone else who is on the verge of silence. You never know how one share can awaken destiny in another. If you have not yet subscribed, let this be the moment. Not because of me, but because heaven is pouring out words in this season that you cannot afford to miss. Stay connected, stay aligned, and let your spirit be continually filled with truth that strengthens your voice. And yes, take a moment to like this message, not as a casual click, but as a sign of agreement, a way of saying, I recognize the power of this word, and I stand with it. Every act of agreement matters. Whether it is spoken aloud or pressed through a button, heaven sees even the smallest yes. Oh, chosen one, rise up with your voice today. Stop shrinking back. Stop questioning your authority. The words you speak are fire. The declarations you release are weapons. The promises you carry are unstoppable. You are chosen, and your voice is about to shake atmospheres. Chosen one. Every battle you face is greater than what the eyes can see. You may think you are fighting people, circumstances, or even your own limitations. But the truth goes deeper. You are contending with forces in realms unseen, spirits of darkness that recognize the mark on your life and tremble at the potential you carry. This is why your struggle has felt heavier, why your path has been marked by resistance. It is not because you are weak, it is because you are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. The Apostle Paul once wrote of this reality so that you would not be deceived. He pulled back the curtain to remind us of what lies beyond the natural eye. According to what is written in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. These words remain true in your life now. Every strange opposition, every sudden storm, every unexplainable heaviness has a root in the spiritual. You were never merely dealing with random attacks. You have been wrestling with forces that want to see you silenced, broken, and destroyed. Yet here you are, still standing. This is proof that greater is the one within you than the one who has come against you. Chosen one. Spiritual battles are not won with natural weapons. You cannot out-argue darkness. You cannot outrun the attacks. These battles require spiritual strength, prayer that pierces through, faith that refuses to bow, worship that shakes the foundations of oppression. Your greatest power in battle is not your own might, but your surrender to the one who fights for you. Consider how many times you thought the fight would overwhelm you. The depression, the confusion, the constant resistance. It should have broken you, but it did not. Even when you felt weak, something inside of you kept pressing forward. That was not your strength alone. That was heaven sustaining you. The very fact that you are alive to hear this word proves that victory has already been written into your story. Understand this. The attacks were never about destroying your life. They were about distracting you from your calling. The enemy knows he cannot erase what God has spoken over you. So he tries to wear you down, to cloud your vision, to drain your energy. But even his most violent storms cannot erase the light within you. You are a warrior, not because you never felt fear, but because you never surrendered to it. Chosen one. Your spiritual battle is evidence of your spiritual authority. Hell does not waste its energy on those who pose no threat. The reason you have faced what you faced is because of the crown upon your life, because of the destiny written in heaven's books with your name. The battles you are enduring are the very confirmation that you are chosen. So, lift your head, recognize the battlefield for what it is, and do not grow weary. Every arrow aimed at you will turn into testimony. Every storm you survive becomes another weapon in your arsenal. You are not merely surviving, you are conquering. Step by step, battle by battle, and soon you will see that what once came against you has only made you stronger, sharper, and more dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Chosen one. Have you noticed how heaven speaks through signs, patterns, and even numbers? At times you thought certain repetitions were coincidences, but they were not. They were confirmations, gentle nudges from God, reminding you that your steps are aligned with His timing. The natural mind overlooks them, but the awakened spirit understands. There are no accidents when you are chosen. Think of the moments when the same number seemed to appear everywhere in your conversations, on clocks, on receipts, in unexpected places. You brushed it off at first, but something inside you felt the weight of it. That was heaven saying, "I am with you. I have not forgotten you. Pay attention." These signs are reminders that the unseen realm is closer than you think. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 8. "The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. This is the anchor behind the confirmations you have been receiving. They are not random. They are proof that God has gone ahead of you, arranging details you cannot see, whispering through symbols that you are walking in His design. Chosen one. Destiny is not vague. It is precise. Every step you take has been measured. Every delay, every open door, every closed one has been woven into a tapestry of divine order. The confirmations you see are heaven's way of steadying your heart, so that when the waiting feels heavy, you remember, "I am not lost. I am not wandering. I am right where I am meant to be." And here is where your response matters. When heaven speaks in these subtle ways, you are invited to answer. To dismiss them as coincidence is to ignore the voice calling from beyond. But when you respond in faith, you enter alignment with heaven's rhythm. Agreement opens the way for greater clarity, greater vision, and greater breakthrough. This is why I ask you now to take a prophetic step. Write this number in the comments: 4,444. Why this number? Because it symbolizes foundation, stability, and divine order. By typing it, you are declaring, "I recognize that my life is not random. My steps are ordered. I am aligned with heaven's timing." It is not superstition, it is surrender. It is your way of saying, "I will not fear, for I know my path is secure." Oh, do not underestimate this act. Every declaration you make, whether spoken or written, releases authority in the unseen. When you write 4,444, you are not just engaging with a symbol, you are stamping your spirit with faith. You are marking this moment as the day you chose to believe that your journey is steady, that your destiny is unshakable, and that heaven has gone before you. Chosen one. You are not drifting. You are not delayed. You are not abandoned. The very signs you've seen, the whispers you've felt, are evidence that heaven is speaking constantly. guiding gently, leading faithfully. Let this bring rest to your heart. You are in step with eternity. Take courage. What feels uncertain to you is already settled in heaven. What looks confusing to you is already clear in the mind of God. Trust the signs. Embrace the confirmations. And know that your life is aligned with divine order. Write the number. Declare your agreement. Step fully into the assurance that heaven has already gone before you. Chosen one. There is a sound of breaking in the spirit. What once held you bound is loosening. The invisible chains that wrapped around your heart, your mind, even your family line, are snapping under the weight of heaven's authority. You may not feel it all at once, but the shift is happening. Freedom is drawing near. For too long, strongholds have tried to define you. Lies whispered in your childhood, wounds carried into adulthood, patterns that seemed impossible to escape. All of these became chains, convincing you that bondage was your normal. Generational curses, cycles of fear, addictions, or constant rejection, they wrapped themselves tightly, making you believe there was no other way. But chosen one, heaven declares today that those chains have no right to remain on you. The word of God declares in the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, verse 27, "In that day their burden will be lifted from your shoulders, their yoke from your neck. The yoke will be broken because you have grown so fat." This imagery speaks of growth, of anointing, of increase, so powerful that the chains can no longer contain you. What once fit, you cannot hold you anymore. The yoke breaks not because of your effort, but because of the oil of heaven upon you. Think of this. Chains are designed to restrict movement. They limit how far you can go. And for years, you felt those limitations. You took steps forward, only to be pulled back. You pursued dreams, only to hit invisible walls. You wondered why progress felt so short-lived. Those were not coincidences, they were chains. Subtle but strong. Yet the power of God is greater. Those same chains that restricted you are now breaking under the pressure of divine authority. Chosen one. Breaking is rarely quiet. It comes with noise, with pressure, with resistance. That is why this season has felt so heavy. The rattling you've experienced in your soul, the tension in your spirit, it is the sound of chains losing their grip. What feels like warfare is actually freedom in process. What feels like shaking is the evidence that you will not remain bound. And understand this, when chains break in your life, it does not stop with you. Freedom always multiplies. The curses that tried to run through your bloodline will end with you. The addictions that plagued generations before you will not cross into the next. You are the chosen breaker, the one called to stand, to say, no more, to close the door on patterns that have lasted too long. It may feel overwhelming at times. You may wonder why so much pressure is on you, why the fight seems fiercer for you than for others. But the answer is this: because you are the one chosen to end what others could not. You carry the authority not only for yourself, but for those connected to you. When your chains fall, those around you will see what freedom looks like. Do not despise the struggle. Chosen one, the fight itself is proof of your role as a chain breaker. Every moment of resistance means you are closer to release. And when the final link snaps, you will walk lighter than you ever imagined. Your voice will carry more authority. Your steps will no longer hesitate. Your spirit will no longer shrink back. You will walk in freedom, and freedom will follow you wherever you go. Chosen one. The chains are breaking. The burden is lifting. The yoke is shattering. This is the season where you step into liberty, no longer as one who barely survives, but as one who carries freedom like a banner. Chosen one. Heaven desires to give you a glimpse of who you are becoming, not the version of yourself that is weary from battles or heavy from scars, but the radiant vision of the crowned one who you were always meant to be. It is easy to see only your struggles, your weaknesses, your stumbles, yet beyond the veil of your present state, heaven sees the warrior crowned with glory, the torchbearer who carries light for others. Close your eyes for a moment in faith and imagine yourself standing tall, not hunched from the weight of rejection, not broken by chains, but upright, crowned, clothed in strength and dignity. This vision is not fantasy, it is destiny. The one you glimpse in your spirit is the true you, already written in heaven's book. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 14, "For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea." Do you see it? You are part of this promise. The glory of the Lord does not just rest on distant mountains or holy temples, it rests upon chosen vessels like you. You are a carrier of that glory, designed to spread it wherever you go, until the earth reflects heaven's brilliance. The vision of the crowned one is not without cost. To wear the crown is to carry responsibility. It is to live with the awareness that your life is not just your own. When others wander, you must lead. When others are silent, you must speak. When others shrink back, you must rise. This is why your path has been harder, why your refining has been fiercer. Crowns are not given to the untested, they are given to those who have endured the fire and remained faithful. But hear this, the crown is not merely a symbol of your victory. It is a sign of your assignment. To be crowned is to be marked as a torchbearer, one who carries light into dark places. You were never meant to hold the light just for yourself. You are meant to ignite others, to awaken the sleeping, to guide the lost. Your light is contagious, your presence disruptive, your calling undeniable. Chosen one. You must see yourself as heaven sees you. Do not look in the mirror of past failures or human opinion. Look in the mirror of eternity, where you are already crowned, already radiant, already walking in authority. When you see this vision clearly, shame loses its power, fear loses its grip, doubt loses its voice. You step boldly because you know the crown belongs to you, not by your effort, but by divine election. And though the battles are not over, your crown is the assurance that every battle will end in victory. Though storms may still rise, your crown declares that you will not be drowned. Though darkness may press against you, your crown proclaims that you will always shine brighter. Chosen one. Fix your eyes on this vision. Let it burn in your heart when discouragement comes. Let it remind you who you are when the world tells you otherwise. You are not just surviving, you are crowned. You are not just enduring, you are carrying glory. You are not just walking, you are leading as a torchbearer, chosen for such a time as this. Chosen one. It is time to rise as the remnant. Not everyone will understand this calling. Not everyone will recognize the fire within you. But heaven has not chosen the crowd, It has chosen the few who will not bow to compromise, who will not surrender to fear, who will stand boldly even when the world turns its back. You are one of those few. The remnant is not defined by numbers, but by faith. They are the ones who refuse to let darkness write the final word. They are the ones who carry the light when others hide. You have been tested, rejected, pressed, but not destroyed. Why? Because you are part of the remnant, marked to endure, to lead, to ignite revival where others see only ashes. The prophet Elijah once stood alone on Mount Carmel, facing hundreds of false prophets. In the natural, he was outnumbered, yet heaven backed his voice, and fire fell. Chosen one. This is the essence of the remnant. You may appear small, but you carry weight beyond measure. When you speak, atmospheres shift. When you stand, heaven stands with you. We find in the book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 5, at the present time, a remnant remains, chosen by grace. This word seals your identity. You are not standing because of your own strength, but because of grace. You are not rising because of your own ability, but because heaven has chosen you, sustained you, and preserved you for this very moment. Chosen one. Being the remnant means you will not always fit. The world may look at you with confusion. Some may label you. Others may distance themselves. But do not mourn the distance, celebrate it. Separation is proof of consecration. You were never called to blend in. You were called to stand out. The remnant is bold in their obedience. They do not delay when heaven speaks. They do not shrink when opposition rises. And this is your mantle now, to step forward with courage, to rise with confidence, to declare boldly what heaven has placed on your heart. You are the answer to someone else's prayer, the carrier of light for someone else's darkness, the voice of hope for someone else's despair. And here, I must pause to ask something of you, not for me, but for the mission you are now part of. If this word has stirred your spirit, if you feel the mantle of the remnant resting on your shoulders, then let this be the moment you respond. Share this message so that others marked as remnant will awaken too. Like this word as a sign of agreement, declaring, "Yes, I rise as the chosen." Comment below to add your voice to this movement, because every declaration matters. And subscribe, not out of routine, but to remain aligned with the stream of words heaven is pouring out in this season. This is not about numbers or algorithms. It is about obedience. Every act of agreement is a spark that can ignite another heart. Every share is a seed of light planted in places you may never see. Every comment is a testimony that the remnant is not silent, but alive, rising, and unshakable. Chosen one. Rise as the remnant. Carry the fire. Refuse to bow. Stand boldly with your crown. The world may not understand you, but heaven celebrates you. You are chosen. You are preserved. You are part of the remnant that will not be shaken. Chosen one. Storms have raged around you, and waves have tried to break you, yet you are still standing. This is not by chance. It is the evidence that your life is rooted on a foundation that cannot be shaken. Others who faced what you faced collapsed under the weight, but you endured. Not because you were stronger in the flesh, but because heaven anchored you in the spirit. You are unshakable and unstoppable. You have faced seasons when everything seemed against you. Finances crumbled, relationships fractured, health faltered. Yet deep within, something refused to let go. That something was not mere willpower, it was the hand of God upholding you. The same hand that calmed the sea for the disciples is the hand that steadied you when the winds howled. Scripture says in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 25, the rain came down, streams rose, winds beat the house, yet it stood, foundation on the rock. Chosen one, you are that house. Life's storms have beaten against you with fury, but the foundation under your feet has kept you from collapse. You are not built on shifting sand, you are rooted in the rock that never moves. The enemy has tried to convince you otherwise. He has whispered that you are fragile, that one more blow will end you. But every strike that was supposed to finish you has only revealed the truth. You are indestructible in God's hands. Your scars are not evidence of defeat. They are proof that even in war, you were preserved. Chosen one, understand the paradox of your strength. You are unstoppable, not because you never fall, but because you never stay down. Each time you were knocked to the ground, heaven breathed courage into your lungs and lifted you again. Each setback became a stepping stone. Each wound became wisdom. Each storm became training for the greater storms yet to come. The unshakable are not those who never face storms. They are those who remain standing after the storm passes. You have walked through fire and water, and both have testified that you cannot be consumed. Even in the valley of shadows, you found light. Even in the midnight hour, you discovered songs rising from your spirit. That is the mark of the unstoppable. You find strength where none should exist. Chosen one, hear this truth. No force of darkness can erase what heaven has written over your life. No betrayal, no rejection, no weapon can undo your destiny. The crown upon your head is sealed by divine authority, and no storm can remove it. The waves may rise, but they will not drown you. The winds may blow, but they will not uproot you. You are fixed, established, immovable. This is why your journey has been so fierce. The storms were not random, they were testing the foundation. And now, it is proven. You are still standing, unbroken, unbent, unmoved. The storms did not diminish you, they revealed you. They exposed the depth of your roots, the strength of your faith, the permanence of your calling. Chosen one, embrace this identity fully. You are not fragile clay waiting to crack. You are living stone, chosen and precious. You are not a reed swayed by the wind. You are a pillar, built to endure. Let every storm remind you not of weakness, but of the rock beneath you. Let every battle prove not the size of the enemy, but the unshakable foundation of the one who called you. You are unstoppable because you walk in alignment with a destiny that cannot fail. You are unshakable because your foundation is eternal. Chosen one, storms will come, but storms will also go, and through it all, you will remain crowned, radiant, and victorious. Chosen one, you have reached the final seal of this word, and heaven is pressing it into your spirit as a lasting reminder. Everything you have endured, everything you have overcome, everything you have been prepared for has led to this moment, the moment of confirmation, the moment of prophetic seal. This is where heaven whispers once more, You are mine, and you are chosen. The prophetic seal is not a physical mark, but a spiritual one. It cannot be erased by failure. It cannot be stolen by darkness, and it cannot be undone by time. When God seals, no power can break it. That seal rests upon you now, confirming what you have suspected all along. Your life has divine assignment. It is written in the book of Revelation, chapter 7, verse 3. Do not harm the land or the sea or the trees until we put a seal on the foreheads of the servants of our God. Chosen one, you are one of those marked. Though storms rage and nations tremble, you are sealed. Though the enemy plots and schemes, you are preserved. The seal of God is a shield that speaks louder than any curse, louder than any weapon, louder than any accusation. The seal also carries identity. You may have questioned who you are, wondered if your life truly mattered, wrestled with doubts about your purpose. But this seal silences the lies. It declares with authority, you belong to heaven. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are not lost in the crowd. You are marked, counted, remembered. Your name is written where it cannot be erased. Chosen one. To carry the seal means you walk differently. You no longer live as one searching for approval, because approval has already been stamped upon your life. You no longer bow to fear, because the seal declares you are under heaven's covering. You no longer question your worth, because worth has already been affirmed by the one who chose you before time began. This seal is also a commissioning. Those who are sealed are not sealed for comfort, but for mission. You are preserved not only for your own sake, but so that you may carry light into places of shadow. You are marked not to hide, but to reveal the glory of the one who sealed you. This is why your journey has been so different. This is why you could not walk the same roads as others. You were being prepared for a higher assignment. Chosen one. Do not forget this. The seal is eternal. Men may doubt you. Situations may test you. Even you might question yourself. But heaven's mark does not fade. What is written over you will outlast every storm, every rejection, every failure. The seal proclaims unstoppable, unshakable, unbreakable, chosen. So walk boldly in this truth. Let the seal remind you when fear whispers, when darkness presses close, when uncertainty clouds your path. You are not ordinary. You are not forgotten. You are sealed. And because of that, your destiny cannot fail. Chosen one. As this word comes to its conclusion, I want you to pause and breathe it in. Every section has been woven together like threads of destiny, each one reminding you of who you are, why you were preserved, and where you are going. You are not ordinary. You are not forgotten. You are chosen, marked, and sealed for a time such as this. Think of how far you've come just by leaning into this message. The tears, the scars, the chains, the storms, all of it was shaping you for the crown you now carry. This word was not random. It was heaven's appointed reminder that you are unstoppable, unshakable, and destined to shine. But hear me, chosen one. This journey is not meant to end here. The fire within you must stay alive. You need to remain connected to the flow of words. Heaven will continue to pour into your life. That's why I ask you, sincerely, to take action now. Subscribe if you haven't yet. so you never miss the next word heaven aligns for you. Like this message, not as a casual gesture, but as a declaration of agreement. Share it boldly, because someone you know is still wandering, and your obedience could place the right word in their path. And finally, let your voice rise in the comments. Do not stay silent. Write what stirred your heart, what confirmed your spirit, what you are choosing to step into from this day forward. Your comment is not just text on a screen, it is testimony, a prophetic act that marks this moment as your turning point. Chosen one. Your best days are ahead. Heaven is with you. The seal is upon you. And your destiny is unstoppable. Rise and walk as the chosen one you truly are.